panel sessions. Panel session 1, Canada-Poland Chamber of Commerce, Polish-American Business Club, New York, Polish-American Chamber of Commerce, Florida and the Americas, Polish-American Chamber of Commerce of Nevada, Polish-American Chamber Pacific Northwest, Polish-American Chamber of Commerce Chicago, and U.S.-Poland Business Council. That's the change. And panel session 2, U.S.-Polish Trade Council, Europe Now from Toronto, Polish Agency for Enterprise Development, West Pomeranian Agency for Regional Development, Świętokrzyskie Center for Innovation and Technology Transfer, and Lubuskie Voivodeship. That's
Good morning. My name is Jack Smigala, President of Canada-Poland Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Canadian delegation, there are 7 of us who drove 9 hours from the beautiful city of Toronto, Canada. Our cities are very similar. We have a similar population base of 3 million people situated on the Great Lakes. We enjoy a diverse and vibrant, well-established Polish community and feel right at home in your beautiful city. Some of us even went out last night and had a taste of how beautiful a city is, and we got home pretty late, but we're here fresh and ready to go. The Canada-Poland Chamber of Commerce assists an impressive amount of trade shows and conferences. Our chamber will continue to host ministers and welcomes delegations throughout 2013 and 2015. At this time, I would like to introduce to you a sitting citizenship judge, one of only 20 appointed by the Prime Minister of Canada. He's the chairman of our chamber, Mr. Wojtek Śniegowski.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I was supposed to speak half Napu, but I don't know if that's advisable. I think everybody speaks English here, so I'm going to stick to that beautiful language. As our president said, we are a networking mostly organization, Chamber of Commerce. We don't offer services as we are all volunteers. We're looking into actually changing that. We signed the agreement with Business Bridge Canada to actually help us with making sure that that people who contacted us and we are unable to help them with some services that that organization would take care of that. I just want to tell you just a few things about Canada. You probably, I'm not sure if you are like an average American and to think that this is a land of the polar bears, but we are here to attest that we're not. This is, as Jack pointed out, the city of Chicago and city of Toronto have a lot of in common. We are not that far apart. Ontario has changed recently quite a bit. It became a very modern and open country. This is the open city. This is the most multicultural, the most cosmopolitan city in the world, I would think. And the government of Ontario have made sure that Ontario became one of the most competitively situated jurisdiction in North America as far as the taxes on businesses is concerned. Our government is assuring us that this is the lowest business taxes you pay in North America. So this is a great place to do business. As Jack said, what we have done in the past and we continue to do is serve as a networking hub. We are part of EuCOCIT, which is European Union Chamber of Commerce in Toronto as well. That organization actually right now is becoming a pan-Canadian organization. So we'll have even more ability to help you with matchmaking, and not only within the Polish community, Canadian Polish community, but also other European nations that are represented in Canada in great numbers. So we want to encourage you to, we didn't came here with any agenda, we came here to meet and see if we can establish a working relationship for the future and to see if we can develop business furthermore. For those people from Poland who are here, just want to let you know that Canada is very similar to Poland as far as population is concerned. We are 34 million people. We have about 1 million Polish Canadians living in Canada, across Canada, with biggest concentration, of course, around Toronto. Southern Ontario, that's about 360,000. So those are not the numbers that could impress any Chicagoan, but still, we are very effective. We have also representatives in our political elected offices. We have a member of City Council in Toronto, a very important person. He's for those of you who know anything about the city politics, he is a chairman of the Adjustment Committee, so anything that has to be built in Toronto has to go through his hands. We also have 2 members of parliament from Toronto region, and one of them made a history. He was the first Polish-born and Polish-educated person who was elected to the office of Member of Parliament for Mississauga East Cooksville. We have great relationship, and that's again information for people from Poland. Canadian government, for whatever reason, is extremely open to a relationship with Poland. Prime Minister Stephen Harper a few years back, and I had the privilege to be with him on this trip, made a special detour from a meeting in NATO in Bucharest to visit Poland. Since it couldn't be official visit because the last visit was done by Prime Minister of Canada prior to that. So he flew to Gdańsk and he met with Prime Minister Tusk and Lech Wałęsa, and then we went to Wawel because Kraków, because not many of you probably know, but Canada played some role in preserving Arases, which is a famous tapestry in Wawel. It was actually hosted in Canada throughout the Second World War. And after the war, because it was in province of Quebec, the leader of the Quebec at that time, Premier of Quebec, was strongly anti-communist, and he refused to give that back to communist Poland. And only when he finished his tour in the office, those tapestries were returned to Wawel. And of course, we visited Auschwitz as well. So, on the way back, I asked Prime Minister what was his interest in Poland, and he declared that he was a great supporter of, and his leader and his idol really, it was President Reagan. And because President Reagan identified Russia as an evil empire, and then Poland and Polish people had actually fortitude to fought against this regime with the Solidarity movement. He admires Poles for peace-loving nation that there is. So for whoever is here from Poland, I want to encourage you to pursue the relationship with the Canada and the Canadian government, since it's so very open to this relationship. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Teresa Indelak-Davis, and together with my colleague Bogdan Raciborski sitting there, we're representing the Polish-American Chamber of Commerce Pacific Northwest. We're a very young and small organization in Seattle, just celebrating 2 years from incorporation. Whoops, too early. I can do the clicking. So, the actions and results are driven by our mission, which is to facilitate cooperation and exchange between Polish and American businesses to drive economic development and achieve success. Some of the examples of the work that we do is receiving trade delegations in Seattle and connecting them with investors and business partners in Seattle, doing education and training and attending seminars that are related to trade development, and then passing that information to our members. Our mission is very well aligned with the Chicago Declaration that Minister Pietraszewski mentioned earlier. In the way of communication, we feel like from the last year, we are communicating with other chambers through newsletters, Facebook, Twitter, also email and phone calls, and that has helped our chamber be really aware of what's going on within the Polish American business community. The other one is collaboration. Oh, not yet. I can do with this. The other one is around collaboration. And again, for the seminars that I've mentioned, we've collaborated very closely with the Embassy of Poland, the Trade and Investment section, as well as Consulate in Los Angeles. Ministry of Foreign Affairs came to Seattle last year, representative from the ministry, as well as agencies such as Invest in Gdańsk, Invest in Pomerania, and Invest in Poland. We're also coordinating efforts with our local members and economic development commissions within the state of Washington, such as the Seattle Economic Development Commission, King County, and Thurston County. Some of the other agencies that we work with in the state of Washington include Trade Development Alliance of Greater Seattle. That's the municipal level organization, as well as state level, which is Association of Washington Business and also Washington State Department of Commerce. You see that we also have relationships with other ethnic chambers, such as French and so on, and Eastern European, and also work with the Washington State Consular Association and other organizations like the World Trade Center, Seattle, and Tacoma. So because we have these relationships, we're able to garner support, get help with marketing, as well as inviting the right target audience to our high-level events and conferences that we have the pleasure of hosting. And I'll do two highlights from last year. One of them is hosting a trade delegation from Gdańsk and the Pomerania region that came on a U.S. trade mission and stopped in Silicon Valley, Seattle, and Chicago. So the portion of the agenda in Seattle involved business networking with potential investors at the World Trade Center in Seattle to position Pomerania as a place to invest and a key player among industries such as IT, biomed, and innovation. And also, we took the delegation to corporate clients, such as Microsoft, Weyerhaeuser, Boeing. Also, they've met with the Seattle Port Commissioner, Seattle Mayor, and with Association of Washington Business to discuss ways that Washington State and the region of Pomerania can work closer together on joint initiatives. The next one is the Dreamliner delivery to Polish LOT Airlines. Unfortunately, later, as we've learned, it was overshadowed by some events with technical challenges. However, in November, we had the pleasure to host a sizable delegation from Poland as well as other places in the US for a series of events commemorating the first Dreamliner delivery to a European airline. The first event that we had the pleasure of collaborating on was a business seminar with Deputy Minister Beata Stelmach and His Excellency Ambassador Richard Schnepf. The topic of the session was on the Polish-American cooperation in the aerospace sector. And we were able to invite several high-level representatives from various agencies and investment firms, get them acquainted with the state of the aviation industry in Poland, as well as discuss perspectives for future development in science and innovation. Also, we participated in the opening of an exhibit on Frank Piasecki and other Polish aviator inventors that was brought to the meet in Seattle from Museum of Flight in Kraków. And that exhibit just closed a month ago. So we had it for 3 months. And finally, we participated in activities around the departure of the plane at the Boeing Painfield Airport in Everett near Seattle. And that, again, was a very momentous occasion with a lot of VIP members. So If you're thinking about doing business in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle area, Washington State, please think of Polish American Chamber of Commerce, Pacific Northwest. And we are here to talk about additional opportunities, forge new relationships, and look forward with working with you in the future. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor and privilege to be in such a distinguished group of business people and organizations. But I'm representing Polish American Chamber of Commerce of Florida and the Americas. My name is Leszek Gladowski. I'm president of the chamber for the last 2 years and a half. And why in the name we have of Florida and the Americas? Because we are capital of the Americas. Okay, and I will show you in our short presentation why you should be in Florida. And I will explain you why, if you are doing business or if you are thinking to do business, if you are not in Miami, your competition does not have competition. So why Miami? Miami and Florida, for most of you, when you are thinking about Florida, things about tourism, right? And it's right. This is one of the important engines of our state. Last year, we had 90 million tourists in Florida, from which about 40 million moved through Miami International Airport. We are global business center where the world meets, and with all the changes, what's going on, which I will show you in the next few slides, you will have an idea what potential we have. Our chamber and our state is not a destination, it's a platform to do business. Okay, Miami has a great climate not only for tourism but also for business. We are a global center for businesses, the second largest center, financial center after New York in United States. We have over 1,000 multinational corporations headquartered in Miami, Florida, in the area. We are third largest consular corps in United States. And also we have 73 foreign consulates and 21 trade offices. Also, Miami is the capital of binational chambers of commerce. Polish American Chamber is co-founder of ABIC, which is Association of Binational Chambers of Commerce. We are 49 members. Every week we have events which are trade missions or networking events or any kind of events which lead to business partners. As I mentioned, financial center is very important. After we go to next slide, I just spoke about this. Over 100 important financial institutions, 51 foreign banks. We can go a little bit faster. Okay, Miami International Airport, as I mentioned, moved 39.5 million passengers, and this was last year. Miami has over 1,000 connections, direct flights to Latin America, 66 non-stop destinations, and also Miami International Airport is in the first 10 world airports moving cargo. We moved. We are in the nine position moving cargo in the world. Now, another very important engine of Florida economy is Port of Miami. Port of Miami is also the cruise the capital of the world. We are moving about over 4 million passengers a year. Port of Miami is creating 170,000 jobs. Yeah, there was a part of this slide. You can go forward. In this moment, Port of Miami is in the process of expanding together. This in synchronization with the Panamanian Channel, which we'll talk in the next few slides. I mentioned this, 1.6 million metric tons of cargo moved from Miami International Airport. Now, another huge project is the railway, which is being reconstructed, connecting Florida from Port of Miami to United States. Basically, this project is about $50 million investment, which will be finished this year. We'll be able to connect from 1 to 4 business days to 70% of U.S. population, of U.S. territory. Basically, to Chicago, we'll be able to ship the cargo from Port of Miami in 4 days. It's to New York as well. We are talking Atlanta and Texas 1 to 2 days. It will be much cheaper than sending merchandise through using trucks. Great. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about the numbers. It's impressive because we see in the last year or two great help from Polish authorities, from Minister of Economy. We are working better together, and the results we can see here. United States, last year for 2012, we had a trade between Poland and United States for about almost $8 billion. Now, important part of this, when you see where the business is coming from, where it's going to, how is the trade, okay? We like to analyze those numbers and to see the reason why it is growing so fast. You can see that about 30% of that, which is about $2.4 billion, is concentrated not in Chicago, not in New York, we love you, but is 30% in southeast of United States. Next one. Now, another important numbers to see why Miami, okay? Last year, Poland trade between Latin America and Poland was $5.3 billion, okay? Major partners are Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico. Now, in the statistics, in the Polish ministry, and I hope the Minister of Economy was with us, because we have to be on the same page. We have to work. We have so much to do, and we have so much potential. I just would like to show you the statistics from last year, what we are doing in Miami, okay? We divide Latin America. It's not just Latin America. These are 3 regions. One region is South America, another is Caribbean, and another is Central America. And why we are telling this? In the previous slide, you saw 30% of U.S. commerce concentrated in southeast of the United States, right? 5.3 billion in South America, Latin America, what is called in official Polish government slides. So what we have about $8 billion in trade, and we are in the middle in the center of this geographic area, right? Now, example, Central America countries, and these are from official numbers from Ministry of Economy, did with Central America almost $200 million. Miami, I'm not talking about US. Let's forget about US. I want to talk what we can do together, okay? Miami, in the first 2 months of this year, did a business for $3.5 billion. Projected for this year, $21 billion. So we are talking 100 times more than Poland is doing with this region today. And we are talking about just Miami. These are not US numbers. US numbers are $60 billion. Next one. another great example of what we can do and where we can work together. Polish government, Polish agencies, the regions. We have great representatives. I'm so glad to see representative from Lubuskie, where I am from. Caribbean, this is totally different region. With Caribbean, we did almost $960 million, while United States is doing 38 or almost $39 billion. This year, Miami will do a little bit over $10 billion. Just to give you an idea, where I see and analyze the official trade missions from Polish government officials, Minister Sikorski and other official delegations, businesses going over there, where they go. If you analyze the last 18 months, they are going to Argentina, they are going to Brazil, okay? They are going to most difficult countries. We have much easier countries to go. We have to go there because Brazil is sixth economy in the world. It's growing fast. But every country, I have been living 15 years in Venezuela. I did business with Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Mexico, Colombia. I know the language, I know the culture, and we have to use it. This is our capital. This is the easiest way to do. I want to say that Poland needs to diversify its economy. Has been so successful growing for the last 20 years, right? Now, like every other business, we need to diversify. So what is our natural and easiest partner to work with? Both Americas. There is no other better partner. We are not talking about China, not talking about India, we are talking about the Americas. And we have the potential. And I would like to say that the partner number one, yes, politically and strategically is United States. But where you do business, we are talking about practical business, okay? You do business where it's easier to penetrate the market. The easier to penetrate is Latin America through Miami, because the world is meeting in Miami. Every major corporation from Latin America, from Europe, now from China, has offices in Miami. Let's go to the next one. Example of Caribbean area. Poland, if you remember, did last year $5.3 billion with Latin America. Miami did with Dominican Republic $5.1 billion last year. Now, South America, we are talking about $4.1 billion. This is what Poland did, from which $1.3 billion was with Brazil, $1 billion was with Argentina, and $960 billion with Mexico. Miami this year will do about $50+ billion with this region. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. Now, you see the Miami as the global business center, as the platform to expand to both Americas, with the railroads, with the communication, everyday containers going to Latin American countries. But how we can work together with Poland. Poland, what we are promoting within our Latin American partners, is not only the destination. It's a gateway to European community and mostly to Central and Eastern European countries. These are small countries. These very interesting numbers which I put together without knowing that our friends from Lithuania will be here. And I'm so glad you are here because you are our natural partner of developing this business. The business last year between Central and Eastern European countries, which are listed here, is about $3 billion. This is what's going on. So we can use the Polish economy, Polish geographic location as an advantage to our business, to develop our business. Now, I want to ask you, are you ready? The huge wave of business opportunities are coming to Miami. We are talking about over $30 billion just coming to this region. I want to let you know in this instance, there is the investment in rebuilding and building infrastructure just in Miami area, I mean, big Miami, Southeast Florida, for about $10 billion. Next one. The thing is, if you will be ready for this wave coming, okay? Now, this is huge. Multi-billion-dollar game-changing events. The expansion of Panamanian Channel is so important to us. Why? Because the ships from Asia will be able to come to US coast and from here use the Miami or Florida as the gateway to expand more businesses to Latin America and United States. Okay? What was happening till now, only 7% of those goods went through Panamanian Channel and the rest stay in California and was moved by trucks to east coast of United States. Now, from the 2014, 2015, when the will be inauguration of the Panamanian Channel, the position or participation of Florida, I will say, will grow from 7 to 23%. So in the next 5 years, so till 2020, the projections are the business will grow from 7 to 23% of participation of goods from China, what means almost 300% of growth. That's amazing. Okay, here this map is very interesting because it's showing the way the merchandise will flow through the region, through the world. We are becoming the global business hub for everybody from all the continents and all the countries. This is the example of the first graphic you have. This 4,400 TUs, which are the units. The unit, one TU unit is like 20-foot container, okay? So this is what currently is passing through Panamanian Channel. Now, after 2000, post-Panamanian, what we call, after the inauguration, the little bit bigger ships, the ships which will carry 12,000 containers, and in the process of building the 15 to 16,000 containers. What does it mean? From business standpoint of view, will be much cheaper to bring the merchandise from Asia to Florida to United States and Canada, because with this railroad, what is being built right now, which will be finished this year, and to South America, will become huge engine. I want to tell you something. I'm in business in real estate, and the real estate is, why is good? I love this business because it's real. When real economy failed, the prices of the properties went down below the reconstruction cost, right? And we saw it. Now we recover. Everybody is telling, well, we're still in this wave of foreclosures and the process is not ended. I want to tell you something. If everywhere else in United States, there is a good economic situation. In Miami, we have great economy. When everywhere in the United States is bad economy, we are very bad. We are very sensitive till now. Now, what happened with these changes will be basically independent of the changes of US market. Why? Because the business between Europe and Latin America will flow naturally through Miami, through Florida. This is what is happening now, okay? European Union and Poland, European Union and Latin America, some Latin American countries signed free treatment agreement like Mexico, Colombia, we're just starting April 1st. In fact, Colombia is a great partner. This economy will grow, or exchange business will grow very fast. Colombia, I don't know if you are aware, Mielec sold 5 Black Hawk helicopters to Colombian army from Mielec, okay, which with great electronic equipment from United States. It was a great business relationship between Poland, United States, and Latin America, but everything is going through Miami. Okay, let's go to the next one. I know we are time. Okay, growth of this is our governor. He's talking about a wave of $30 billion over the next 10 years. We just coming to Miami. The governor is very business oriented. We are very lucky to have a great leader over there. Now, what will do this change in this investment will do? Basically, what it will do that more and more people will come. We'll have more need for great professionals from all around the country, around the world to do business. We have opportunity to grow, not only our businesses, but we can work together as the chambers. Now, expansion, Panamanian Channel expansion, Port of Miami expansion, railroad interconnection expansion. What about expanding our vision about business? Okay, geographic position. We talk about this little bit about Poland. Okay, this map is from Miami International Airport, which was proposed to LOT to basically connect Florida and Latin America with the world. So this is the map from Poland, but we can use it. I discussed with our Lithuanian guests over there. That's not only passengers. There is a lot of business going on. Okay, next one. Now, if we connect these two words, go next one. So this connection, it just makes sense. Not only makes sense, it makes sense, cents and dollars. Okay, because we are in business to make profits. Okay, it just makes sense, cents and dollars. Okay, let's go to the next one. I just spoke a little bit about that. Okay, go to the next one. About real estate, I discussed, if you have a friend, if you want to invest, the best moment to invest is right now. We still have a window of 12 months of opportunity to invest in real estate. Now, we are lucky because we have a lot of Polish business people coming and investing for pleasure. Now, more and more, we'll see those people coming and invest in their businesses, in expanding businesses. Okay, so this is a great moment for those of you who want to discuss the real estate opportunities. We'll be able to talk. I don't want to extend it more than needed. I just want to make mention about these areas. Go to the next one. Next one. Next one. Okay, now last year we discussed and we did a great event, Trade Poland event, Business Expo in October, and some of the chambers join us in the Miami Free Zone. Now, our initiative, I want to tell you something. Our initiative is not anymore a project, is working already. We have companies already which are working in Miami Free Zone. What is the advantage of doing this? Okay, that the Polish companies can have a merchandise in Miami Free Zone, sending in big containers, and from this area, without paying any duty, can ship with consolidated cargo to different countries in South America. We have connections every single day. You can send 1 pallet, 5 pallets, 10 pallets. You can label, you can change it, you can consolidate, you can manipulate the cargo. This is already working. As the second part to it, okay, we are opening the Trade Poland Pavilion, which is private institution, member of our chamber. Okay, will be selected companies. Right now, we have space for 20 companies. We already have 10 companies which reserve the space. However, we want to be very selective. We want to have from every area the leader of specific industry in this trade show, because this is showing who we are as Poland. This will help us to promote business. Now, this is very important. Okay, this is Polish ambassador. We are lucky to have great leaders here in US. He says, I will say it in Poland, we'll read it for you because it's very important and significant to us. Potrzebne są większe przedsięwzięcia. Wrócę do pomysłu, który kiedyś, wiele lat temu urodził się w mojej głowie, a który został wyśmiany. Polska powinna mieć jedno dobre miejsce na promocję polskiej gospodarki, jeśli chodzi o południe Stanów Zjednoczonych i Amerykę Łacińską. Tym miejscem powinno być Miami. Ameryka Łacińska rozwija duży biznes poprzez Miami. Tam są największe targi. Wydawanie pieniędzy na lokowanie drobnych inicjatyw we wszystkich krajach od wielu lat nie przyniosło żadnych rezultatów. Każdy przedsiębiorca latynoamerykański, między innymi z powodu niestabilności sytuacji w swoim kraju, jest obecny na Florydzie. Utrzymuje dom, apartament, 3 konta bankowe i filię swojej firmy. To jest model biznesu w Ameryce Łacińskiej, a który ze Stanów Zjednoczonych mógłby być aktywowany w centrum hiszpańskojęzycznym. To powiedział nasz ambasador w zeszłym roku na Komisji Spraw Zagranicznych, jak był nominowany na ambasadora. Dlaczego? Ja rozmawiałem z ambasadorem, był 3 razy ambasadorem, był ambasadorem w 3 krajach Ameryki Południowej, zna realia, świetnie mówi po hiszpańsku. Sorry, I switched to Polish, but you know, we have guests speaking English, sorry, I will switch back. The ambassador basically told, if we want to do business in Latin America, we have to do business through Miami. He knows the reality. He was ambassador in 3 countries. I can say that. I was living in Latin America for 15 years. We are living there. We are doing business with Latin America. And I want to repeat to you, if you are doing business in the Americas or want to do business in America and you are not in Miami, your competition does not have competition. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John Petkus. I'm the Honorary Consul of Poland in Las Vegas. I'm representing the newly formed Polish-American Chamber of Commerce of Nevada. We didn't call it Las Vegas because most of you who are not familiar with me or Las Vegas are probably thinking, oh, I'm going to talk to them about what's a good show or what's a good hotel to stay in Las Vegas or where the slot machines are winning. And that's one of the biggest preconceived notions that everybody has about Las Vegas and the state of Nevada, that it's just casino. It's similar to preconceived notions about polar bears in Canada. I think of hockey for Canada because I'm originally from Detroit. And it's one of the biggest problems we have to get the word out that there's a lot going on in the state of Nevada. A little bit about our state. The state of Nevada is slightly smaller in area than Poland, and we only have 3 million people that live in our state. Our Polish population in Nevada, we have 15,000 Poles, 75,000 Americans of Polish descent. 2 major city areas, obviously Las Vegas in southern Nevada and Reno, Lake Tahoe up in the northern part of the state. The biggest part of our chamber in the beginning is really education, because to talk business, you have to educate people that there is actually business to be had in our state. And the education goes both ways. Most Americans perceive, I call them the 4 Ps. Poland is piwo, punchki, polka, and pierogi. And frankly, but when you want to talk business, you have to overcome those perceptions, just like you have to overcome the perceptions that Nevada is just Las Vegas. We won't talk about Las Vegas right now. We'll talk about the state of Nevada. Outside of the tourism industry, our almost gross sales, gross profits in the state is in our mining industry. Actually, last year, a large Polish company, KGHM, out of Lubin, purchased 6 copper mines in Nevada, approximately $300 million investment in our state. We have a small Silicon Valley section up in the north in Reno, because of its close proximity to the real Silicon Valley. The diversification in the state up north is phenomenal. It's something that not many people know. We have a very active state. Our new governor has really gotten into the diversification. Everybody's talked about diversification for years, but our new governor has, because of that and because of the tax-friendly environment and the way they work with companies, Apple Computer is investing $1 billion in Nevada, building a data center up in Reno. So our biggest job is education in our chamber. We've got some very, very active, we have a very active Polonia, very young, very business-oriented. A lot of the people that have moved from Poland into Nevada have a very strong entrepreneurial spirit. Because of my position and because of it's a small state, we have literally direct access to our governor, our economic development people, our lieutenant governor who's Polish. We can get things done very fast. I'm hearing that there's a trade mission from Poland coming to Las Vegas in January. Let's get back to Las Vegas. 7 out of the 10 largest trade shows in the United States are held in Las Vegas. 4 out of the biggest 10 in the world are held in Las Vegas. It's a business center. I mean, yes, we have the entertainment, we have the casinos and everything like that, but we have the largest world market center for furniture in Las Vegas. There's a lot of things going on, but we have to break down the barriers. That's all I've been doing for the last 4 years, is preaching to business people that there's business done, and it's very, very receptive state government and very, very cheap place to do business or come and do business. I have probably once or twice a month officials from the Polish government will come unofficially to Las Vegas, because there's that notion that Las Vegas is only party and fun. It is, but there's business going on too. And so really right now I'm here today. I know a lot of people here and everything like that, and it's unfortunate that 2 of our board directors aren't here, but we're going to be very involved. We're very involved in a lot of different ways. Our consular corps in Las Vegas is 37 strong. We have a goal by the end of 2014 to have the largest consular corps in the United States because of the business that's getting done. A lot of countries have already realized the renewable energy, green energy, the electronics business that are in Nevada, and China has already invested well over $1 billion into the state. I'm a member of the District Export Council, and we had a trade show, the DEC trade show a year ago, and we had a very large, Poland had a very large presence. It was a very successful show for us, and we look at it as collaboration between Nevada and Poland both ways. Poland working with Nevada, Nevada working for Poland. So I'll be asking a lot of questions. Our board will. You'll be hearing a lot more from us. We're 2 weeks old right now, but hopefully next year we'll have some success stories to talk to everybody about. Thank you.
Well, we crossed the mark. It's 5 minutes after 12. It's so much to tell. I know it's so much to do for all of us. It's so little time. So good afternoon, everyone. And although my prior speaker was really brief, and thank you for that, I can say that your speech was the longest. You started in the morning and finished in the afternoon. So to use my time most effectively, I like to just tell you a few words about the club, PABC, that I'm pleasure to be the president of. And then I'd like to tell you about one project that we started about 2 years ago and ended up with a huge success. And it shows how much can be achieved when we work together. So PABC, Polish American Business Club, was established about 12 years ago. to facilitate the growth of Polish American business community in the greater New York area. There are about 25 of us. It's a small club, but we intend to keep it that way. We're very selective. We are adding about 2-3 members per year. But I think through our connections and other organizations and affiliation, I think we are pretty well established in New York and in New Jersey. We have a website, so I guess if you would like to learn more about the club, pabc.biz. It tells about the history, who are our members. But so again, I'd like to tell you about this one project that we started 2 years ago. One of our members is an importer and distributor of non-ferrous metals. He imports metals from all over the world, including Poland, but he couldn't sell products made in Poland to U.S. defense sector, which is a huge receiver of these type of products, only because Poland was not part of a program called DORAS, I believe, but it's a country needs to be approved by the U.S. government, so manufacturer from that country can supply to U.S. defense sector. And although Poland is part of NATO, it's part of coalition, Poland was not approved. It was not on the list of the approved countries. So we thought that we wanted to do something about it. It was not easy, very challenging, but we thought it was worth a shot. We invited a local congressman for a meeting to discuss how this could be achieved. He helped us kind of to design the plan. What should we do? Who should we speak to? Etc. etc. This meeting was followed by more meetings in Washington, D.C. After kind of receiving preliminary agreement or approval, we contacted 3 ministries actually in Poland, including Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and of course Ministry of Defense, because they had to officially submit the application to be part of that program. They did that. Again, it took some time to lobby the program. We spoke to some of the decision makers, and long story short, it took 2 years, but I'm happy to announce that last year, because of our initiative and working together with many organizations and many people, the mission was accomplished. So thank you so much. And because of that, we opened up a huge market for Polish products. We're not talking about the weapons only. It could be anything supplied to the US defense sector, including clothing, shoes, food, different services as well. So again, huge project, and happy to be part of it for our club, Polish American Business Club, our members. But it shows again that working together, collaborating together, it took our club, US administration, Polish administration, but it was possible. So I'm happy to be part of this initiative, and I even think that working together with so many different chambers of commerce, we can achieve even more. Thank you so much.
You just heard about 80% of the Polish that I can speak. I'm Daniel Bear. I'm with the Polish American Chamber in Chicago. And just give me 1 second here. All right, I'm going to pull this to the side here. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Moment. Okay. Aha. This is an Adobe thing. Anyway, so no, we're good. So first off, Luke Fuchsa did show you the new logo. So this is going to be part of our branding strategy. And I just want to run through some of the things we've done over the last year and some of the things we have coming up. So we had the big Boeing event, which was in January, the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, just up here. And I have to say that everyone had to do a big pivot because when they grounded the Dreamliner, we had to figure out something else to talk about other than the Dreamliner. So that was actually done very well by the Consul General and by the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. We have a business expo coming up in May, the Polish American Business Expo. We're branding that. That's going to be held at the Copernicus Center Annex, and we hope to take this a few steps further and grow this over the next few years. given the number of Polish businesses that are in the Chicago metropolitan area. And I think, Frank, you would probably have to say that there's just a few Polish American-owned businesses in the area, wouldn't you? Just a few. We have a telephone book that's about 3 inches thick here, so, and that's all for the Polish American business community. Coming up in June, we have Tech Week, and at some point we're probably going to be talking about this a bit more. But this is pretty special. Chicago has really developed this innovation ecosystem, and we have actually with the U.S. Embassy or the Consul General. Sometimes I'm not sure how to address you guys, but we have Bill, who's with Warsaw, but I had a call with his counterpart in Krakow, Brian George, and this is going to be a partnership with Google in Krakow, the U.S. Consulate, and the Polish American Chamber to put on Tech Week. So we have a 20x20 lounge. We're going to be bringing 5 startups from Poland. We're going to have a competition that's actually going on right now through Google. We're going to handpick these companies to bring them over to compete for a $100,000 prize. This is going to be at the Merchandise Mart in June, so keep your calendars open, June 27th, 28th, and 29th. So that's some current events. More importantly, our roadmap with what we're doing at the Chamber. So you're going to see, I think most of you have been to the Copernicus Center and saw our offices last year if you were here. So we're going to give you the little grand or the nickel tour later today or this evening. But more importantly is what we're doing to prepare ourselves for going forward. Madam Minister, who I was hoping would be here now, but she had mentioned how the Polish government is going to be updating their infrastructure, their IT infrastructure. Because you have to, because everything is moving over to the cloud or what they call hosted services. Well, this doesn't matter if you're a government or if it's a business, it doesn't matter. You have to do this. So what we did was we moved to Google Apps for Business, or it's called Google Enterprise. There's essentially 2 choices. It's Google Apps or Microsoft, the Office 365. We chose this for a lot of reasons, and there's to give you an example of federal government contracts, Google won 23, Microsoft won 10. That was one of the criteria we looked at, why we migrated to Google. But it's also because of the integration of the services. So we are now on a platform that will allow us to do video conferencing, collaboration through Google Docs, etc. And we have that, and we would encourage all the other chambers to consider this because it will truly allow us to collaborate doing the Google Hangouts, doing collaborative efforts, whether that's for a calendar or for a newsletter. We have our new logo, which you saw. I do have an intranet site up that I'm working on that I want to at least show you a bit. So this was done through Google Sites. It's built into the Google platform. So we do have this. This is, I think you can call it our beta system here. And we think that the chambers would be able to benefit by collaborating through this intranet. You have to have the Google logon. We can give you access to that. Again, this is something I think you should give serious consideration to. The reason why is that we can have our marketing information online. We can post our upcoming events and how we're going to organize them. Any proposals that someone wants to suggest. Mine is showing joint networking, as you can see. Archived information we have for past presentations is something that you want to copy or use some of the information that was in there. And of course, we have our board members. And then what I think some people are going to enjoy is just the news. Whether that's Polonia or what have you. We have it in Polish, and we have it news from Poland. So we have Warsaw Business Journal, the News.pl, Krakow Post, and New Poland Express. These are RSS feeds coming right into the site. It's updated as that site gets updated. You click it on, you're up to speed with what's happening in whether it's in Poland or in Polonia. That's the intranet site. Also built the Polish American Business Expo site. Again, this is part of the branding. This is when we're selling these events. They have a website to go to. They can look, they can figure out how to sign up. And you can see, you can click on, and you can pull out the registration. these are some of the things why we have to migrate to the cloud. It's not a question of if we can or if we should, we must. Okay, and I don't, you know, whether we're collaborating or not, this is something you're going to have to do because it's just the reality of the world of IT computing. And again, what Madam Minister had said, they are looking at it. 45 of the 50 U.S. states are using Google Business Apps or Microsoft, but almost all of them are on Google Apps. And I think that would be, that's proof positive that it's good enough for us. So what do we want to do? And bear with me one quick sec here. Oh, just finishing up on the roadmap for us. That was the internet. We are looking very seriously at our new website. So we have a new logo and it's a new website, but we're not going to go with a static website. You're not going to be familiar with Ning, N-I-N-G. It's a California-based company. Before Facebook came out, Ning was released. The co-founder is Mark Andreessen. Does anyone know who Mark Andreessen is? Anybody? He's the one who came out with the first web browser. He made a ton of money when it went public. Microsoft, of course, has Internet Explorer, but he's the co-inventor of this. He's a iconic Silicon Valley investor. The other person on the board at Glam Media is Tim Draper. We can go into that later. This will allow us to build a social network within the Polish-American business community, tying Facebook, tying LinkedIn, tying Twitter, two-way feeds going in through this network. And that we're going to be hopefully launching by June. Finally, we're going after the corporate sponsored driven events. Tech Week would be a very good example of that. And then lastly, the internship program. Obviously, there's a lot of Polish-American business, Polish-American students here in the Chicago metropolitan area. We want to give them an opportunity to learn, and it gives us an opportunity to get, for lack of better words, inexpensive labor. So developing the modern tool, what we want to have you guys consider is your IT platform. That, of course, would be Google Apps. This internet strategy to develop a social network through Ning. And then a branding strategy. This, of course, is going to be something you really have to think about. By the way, that's Ning 3.0. It just got released. And it's owned by Glam Media. So this is our new logo. We would like for you to please consider having one logo for all the chambers. Why? Because all the major chambers have one logo. Okay? German, Norwegian, French, British. If you go to California site, it has one logo. If you go to the Chicago site, one logo. Go to Miami, doesn't matter. It's one logo. It's one brand. That's what branding is. Okay? It's brand identity. What do I mean by that? If you go to any Virgin company, you know it's a Virgin company, whether they're selling wine or a mobile device. United Technologies, someone brought up Sikorsky, right? Aerospace, helicopters, but they make elevators too, but you know it's United Technologies. French American Chamber of Commerce, something closer to home. Every site you go to, same logo. Norwegian American Chamber of Commerce. There's 5 million people in Norway. There's twice as many Polish Americans in the U.S. than there is in the entire country of Norway. If we're going to be taken seriously as an organization, we have to look and think and breathe and do everything like a big organization. This is not something we can think about. It's we must do if we're going to be taken seriously, as are the other major ethnic chambers. So that's something we have to give serious consideration to. So what I'm asking you to look at, so you can see this chamber, this logo here. Atlanta, Chicago, Florida in the Americas, Las Vegas, Michigan, Pacific Northwest. This is what we are. This is what we could be. Let's take it a step further. Okay, there's a nice little iconic logo, something you can identify. Why not Silicon Valley? Why not Toronto? Why not New York? That's what we could be if we put ourselves, if we really want to become an organization that's taken seriously. Otherwise, quite frankly, I don't think we will. Thank you very much.
Panel session 2. The first would be U.S.-Polish Trade Council, then Europe Now Toronto, Polish Agency for Enterprise Development, West Pomeranian Agency for Regional Development, Świętokrzyskie Center for Innovation and Technology Transfer, and Lubuskie Voivodeship.
I'm coming from Silicon Valley in California. I'm actually originally from Arizona. I live in Arizona, but I work, I'm corporate counsel at Intel Corporation. So I spend a great deal of my time and a lot of my Polish efforts working in Silicon Valley. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our organization, give you a quick history background of the USPTC, talk about our innovative programs in the US Poland Innovation Hub, talk briefly about the Top 500 Innovators program that we're associated with, and then talk about who's supporting our organization. Great. So the USPTC was founded over 10 years ago in Silicon Valley. It's a grassroots nonprofit organization which supports academic and innovative commercial trade endeavors, primarily in the high-tech field. We're comprised of professionals, lots of PhDs, lots of lawyers, venture capitalists, financiers, and obviously engineers. Silicon Valley is the center for basically the highest concentration of electrical engineers, I think, in the world. So some of our representative organizations, companies, universities, we have Stanford, I'm from Intel, folks from Google, some venture capital funds. So we have a pretty diverse group of people that are focused on our mission. Where are we located? So not only are we located in Silicon Valley and actually in Palo Alto, where our main office is, we have offices in Arizona, we have offices in Warsaw, and a large presence in Katowice, and a presence also in Washington, D.C. So how do we get involved in international trade? So we see ourselves as acting as essentially a chamber of commerce for the innovative science and technology field in California, in particular Silicon Valley, and in the Southwest, particularly in Arizona. We have, and I'll discuss this in a little bit more detail, the U.S. Innovation Hub, which is actually a physical location located in the heart of Silicon Valley, where Polish companies that we select can come and actually open up shop. And then we are involved in many organizing international conferences, most of which are held in San Francisco or the greater Silicon Valley area. Poland Day at the Global Technology Symposium, and just most recently we had at the International Gaming Conference, which was held in San Francisco, we had a Poland Day associated with it. Some of the best programmers in the gaming industry are actually from Poland, so it was actually a great opportunity for us. And our Poland Silicon Valley Technology Symposium this coming November, which has a focus on in the biotech field. So I have some information about that. So those that would be interested, we look forward to seeing you there. And then we are involved with a very unique program called the Top 500 Innovators Program, which is sponsored by the Polish Ministry of Science and Higher Education. It's held at Stanford University. And our executive director of the USPTC is actually the academic director for the program at Stanford. I actually have a colleague of mine who flew in, who is a member of this class, the Top 500 class at Stanford, Robert Karski, who is here joining us for these meetings. So let me quickly just go over probably our largest initiative that we're associated with, which is the Innovation Hub. So the way we look at things is that Polish companies, especially in the high-tech area, are really needing access to what we call the Silicon Valley opportunity. It's a concentration of not only venture capital, so funding, an environment of consultants, friendly consultants that know how to take the high-tech company to the next level, intellectual property attorneys, patent attorneys, essentially getting them associated with what we're doing in the high-tech field in a mecca like Silicon Valley. We have a physical presence. We actually have an office there, and it's based upon their presence actually at our offices is based upon what I'd like to call, for a little comic relief today, it's kind of an American Idol for Polish companies looking to come to the United States. They go through a stringent training process, a stringent selection process, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a few moments. So what is our goal in the Innovation Hub? We're selecting Polish companies that in the high-tech field that are, and some individuals, but it's generally companies, that apply for a process to become a member company to come to the United States and get connected with our hub. Before they do this, we prepare them. We have a over 5-week process in Poland where we send our best and brightest consultants that we have in Silicon Valley and take them to Poland, to these companies, and these companies get involved with not only putting down their business strategy, but also getting involved with how to protect their intellectual property rights if they come to the United States, how to talk with venture capitalists, how to create a good brand. We've been talking about a brand today. How to brand themselves really as a company to come in the United States. And we call it polishing our skills, polishing their skills. So this is just a graph representation of what I was just talking about. We have a call for proposals. Essentially, companies apply. There's a large competition in Poland, which is advertised on a lot of the high-tech universities in Poland. We have the training sessions in Poland. Then they come, those that are selected will come to the United States. We give them another 1 or 2 weeks of polishing. And then we create opportunities for them to meet with partners at some of the largest companies that you can think of that we all know and hear about on a day-to-day basis. They either there's a potential they get funding, they make partnerships, or they have to come, they realize they're not ready and they come and they go back and repolish. So it's a process. So what are the benefits really for Polish companies? So we're able to assess what their needs are, get their focus really on laser focus on exactly what they need to do to make an impression on American companies, partners, or venture capitalists or other financing arms. And we help verify really what their strategy is about. We talk through things. It's a difficult conversation, being part of these training programs and to help zero in on things. It's really an interesting learning process. So for our partners, we act as, and our investors, we really act as a conveyor belt linking Poland and Silicon Valley with customers, tech development partners, JVs, other opportunities for companies to really make an impression. So the nice thing is the Polish companies that are coming are already ready and can speak the lingo of what it is you need to talk about when you're in Silicon Valley. A lot of times companies will give you 5 minutes to give you the elevator speech, essentially telling them what's your value proposition, what I need from you, and why are you here? And then what's the next steps? And I'm not kidding you, a lot of times these companies will give you 5 minutes of their time. So it's very important that we prepare them as much as possible. So just in terms of numbers, we had our first group of folks come the end of 2012. We had a call for proposals, 12 firms participated, and we have now 5 firms actually in Silicon Valley. We started our second edition. We have 6 firms participating, and so now really the question is, are they going global? And this article actually here that you guys can see on the screen is, we had a feature article in Bloomberg Businessweek Poland talking about the innovative ways that USPTC is helping Polish companies get through their ABCs of the Silicon Valley. So ABC Dolina Krzemowa dla Polskich, basically for polskich firm, for Polish companies coming. So we've gotten some good press about it. This is actually our, I don't know if there's a laser on here, but anyways, it's our in the center there is our executive director, Dr. Piotr Mącarz. Here are a couple of the companies that are actually visiting us now and working with us. Really a diverse group from various parts of Poland. We have folks from the Pomeranian region, Baltic Ceramics. We have folks, Flytronics, which is actually close to, is in Śląsk, in Katowice area. And we have other companies. And because they're engaging right now in negotiations with various partners and venture capitalists, I can't make any announcements publicly, but we're having good reception on these companies, and the feedback we've gotten from their potential partners is that they're ready to go. So we're really excited about the things that have occurred. One of the things, what we're continuing to look for is to continue working with the Ministry of Economy. I know we had the Deputy Minister here today. We're making a lot of efforts in this area to really help Polish companies take it to the next level and become global. But we're also looking to work with the ministry, and we thank them for their support and everything that they're doing for us. And we want to continue to find a suitable model that we can work together. I know that the ministry is looking to open up their own offices, and they have some offices in Silicon Valley. So we're looking for a good synergy so that we can all work together. And then I'll just briefly, I'm almost done here. I know we're getting close to lunch, but one other interesting thing that we are involved in, and I talked about earlier, is the Top 500 Innovator Program. For those of you that haven't been familiar with this program, the European Union and the Ministry of Higher Education in Poland came up with a unique idea to take Polish entrepreneurs and Polish innovative people, meaning in not only in companies, but in universities and the like, and polytechnics, etc., and give them an opportunity to tweak and focus in on how to become a better innovator. And one of the programs is completely funded through the Polish government via funding from the European Union, is sending 500 of the best and brightest of Poland to come to the United States at Ivy League type institutions and learn in a 9-week program, which Robert is taking part in right now. It's a highly competitive process. They select 40 people through a stringent process to come to this fully paid, really an amazing experience. I've had the opportunity to teach intellectual property law to these folks at Stanford, and we've been lucky enough to have, out of the, is it 6 programs, Robert, now, or is it 5? It's 5 programs, 4 of which have been at Stanford, 1 of them at Berkeley. So we're very proud of how the USPTC has been able to be involved with that. We are actually the academic directors for the entire program, and it's a really unique opportunity to see folks who arrive. This is taken only a couple days ago at Stanford. So this is our latest group upon arrival. And hopefully at the end, after 9 weeks, they're graduates of Stanford in their program, and they're ready to go back to Poland to contribute. So this concludes my presentation. These are a number of the organizations that we're involved with, or that we're involved in, and that are supporting. So we'd like to thank all of them for the amazing contributions they made to us and opening the doors and making things a reality for the high-tech industry moving into a global field via Silicon Valley. Thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it.
Toronto from the company Europe Now Enterprises, and I'm here today to invite you to come to Toronto this year in September to our show, which calls Europe Now Lifestyle Expo. This show was done first time last year, and it covers basically categories of business like health, fashion, beauty, medical tourism, wellness tourism, and just travel. And last year it was the first year of our show, and we managed to have like 110 companies, and from 17 countries from Europe, because basically the show's agenda, the show idea is to promote trade between Europe and Canada and also US. So we only cover this consumer business consumer categories. However, this is like basically promoting Europe in North America. We've done so because we organized 30 shows like that, smaller shows which were like Canadian, and we realized that there were like 2 years talks about free trade agreement between Canada and European Union. So knowing about that and knowing that basically the trade between European Union and Canada should almost jump rapidly when this pact will be signed, we realized that it will be like 20% more of traffic of goods and services between these two continents, between Canada and the European Union. So why Toronto? And Toronto is basically the place where, you know, one of the biggest places in North America for organizing shows, trade shows, and is a good because especially considering promoting Europe, because Toronto is probably the most diversified city in the world, and it's a very good place of business. It's basically in Ontario, our province, is 40% of business in Canada, and Toronto is 40% of business in the province of Ontario. And also is many companies from Europe, they are afraid to come right away to United States, because it's a huge market. So of course they can try first East Coast or California or Florida, but sometimes they come to try how it is going to work on the other part of the ocean. They are coming to Canada first and trying to do business here in Canada. And this last year's show was also for one day consumer show, but this year will be definitely tylko only trade show. And what is additional this year, we've added very important part of the business will be pre-qualified business matchmaking. How it's going to work? We hired basically the best company in Canada, which was doing this kind of service for federal government for 15 years. And starting from the first day when the company will sign for our show, they will begin the process of finding the partners during the show in September. So this pre-qualified matchmaking process is very, very important part of the show. What is even more important this year for Polish businesses or for companies, let's say from United States, who have the partners in Poland, is that Canada was chosen as the place to promote Polish business in 2013 by Ministry of Economy. This program is very, very rich. It covers it covers 6 shows in Canada, but one of these shows is ours, is Europe Now. So during our show, there will be trade mission organized by Ministry of Economy. There will be all-day conference promoting Polish business, and also will be a comprehensive exposition of Ministry of Economy. But the most important for us, for businesses, is that every business will have reimbursed 75% of the expenses coming to Toronto to our show. So as I previously said, I believe that many of you business people from US, you might have partners in Poland. So just please tell them that there's kind of great opportunity to come to North America and start doing new business. Thank you very much.